you've been studying Spanish for months and you still freeze when somebody says, ¿Qué tal? This is gonna hurt because I'm sure that 90% of people watching this are learning Spanish in a traditional language learning manner that's completely wrong. I rebuilt Spanish learning from scratch and I got my delayed C1 diploma in just 3 months. I'm Mehin, I speak 9 languages, and this 4-step framework is gonna change your life. And there's a PDF in the description box that's gonna help you even better, and it's completely free. By the end of this video, you're gonna know how to learn Spanish 10 times faster. Let's start with phase 1, the quickest, even optional for most people. It's a phase that's applicable to the absolute beginners. This is what I call the 2-week grammar beginner bootcamp, because I'm almost completely against grammar unless you're on phase 1 or phase 4. So in phase 1, you're gonna be studying the absolute basics of Spanish grammar, mostly the basic pronouns and the to be variations. Don't think about the subjunctive yet. You don't need it right now. Focus on the things that are gonna help your comprehension, not your speaking that much. And while doing that, you're gonna be learning most frequent Spanish vocabulary. Never use those level vocabularies. Whenever you're learning a language, always focus on the most frequent words instead of the ones that you think you're going to use, because you're not. Focus on the basic verbs. 20% of the effort equals 80% of the result. That's why it's so easy to get from A1 to B1, and then it's harder to get from B1 to B2. Never treat Spanish like you're learning Mandarin. It's not the same, okay? Spanish is an easy language. I hate it when people are trying to scare you. Getting to fluency is difficult. Even if you get like a C1 academic level, you're probably still going to be lacking something. You don't need to be thinking about speaking Spanish as a native, because language is a bridge of culture. Language is not trying to mask as a native in a country that you're not native in. It's about understanding other people and making them understand you and bonding over that. So let me give you the grammar points that you need to learn. Firstly, pronouns. The second thing is present tense, some past tenses, near future for sure. Just try to understand the concept of ser y estar. We're still gonna do it in like phase 2 to 3, but also some basic connectors, you know. Entonces, like the basic ones, you know, the peros, the o seas. This phase and the 4th phase are the only ones that you're going to be studying at. That's the least fun part. The fun part is actually part 3 of the framework. We go to the 2nd phase. It's what's going to make phase 3 feel legal. This phase has to get you from 5% comprehension to 30 to 40% comprehension, and this phase is all about learning new vocabulary. And by the way, this phase shouldn't last long at all. A month, maximum 2 months of this is more than enough. Firstly, a movie a day. You can also use my subtitle ladder technique that's going to make it even better for you. So basically, first you're going to watch the thing in Spanish with English subtitles, then you're going to switch the English subtitles to Spanish subtitles, and then you're going to watch it without subtitles. The next thing that you're going to do in this phase is journal on complex topics and use Google Translate while you're doing this. Try to journal with complex sentences on serious topics and set a page limit. 3 pages minimum that you're going to write in Spanish every single day, but it's still not full-blown immersion, so don't over-rely on this phase. And also try to listen to more Spanish music, even though I don't think this is an effective language learning method, but it does help you with the love of the language. Did you think that was all? Did you think that it's gonna be this easy and simple? Phase 3 is crazy, but it's my favorite thing on earth. Phase 3 is immersion. It's not just the immersion method, it's insane immersion. People are gonna call you crazy, but you're gonna be fluent in Spanish in 5 months. First of all, you start new social media accounts on every platform that you use in Spanish. Ban yourself from switching back to your normal account in English. You can ask ChatGPT for the best creators in your niches. So let's say you're an average person and your social media consumption is like 3 hours daily. 3 hours of full immersion with native speakers of Spanish. Real accents, real slang. What else would you want? Short form content. Short form content is king when it comes to language learning. Every language that I've learned, I have a Spanish C1, I have French C1, I'm learning Italian and Portuguese and Mandarin at the same time. All of them were based on short form content. Nobody accepts this, but short form content is the best language learning tool out there. And also nobody really gives you that technique. So maybe you want to subscribe on my road to 1,000 subscribers and be with me on this journey. You're gonna understand how people from Chile speak. Nobody understands how people from Chile speak, okay? It's very visual heavy because people are trying to catch your attention. There's also subtitles, so you're gonna know how words are written. That's not it, because I told you, this phase is not normal. It's insane. By the way, on YouTube, when you watch long form videos, watch the ones that are on more complex topics. Also, if you're still watching Netflix, switch to documentaries. Now comes the most important part. That's the most low effort, high result part, is using your autopilot mode. So whenever you're driving, whenever you're cooking, doing something that doesn't require your brain to be active, you're going to be listening to podcasts in Spanish, not the ones that are for Spanish learners, the ones that are in Spanish, okay? I remember myself, I was listening probably around 3 to 4 hours minimum, and my daily listening time with social media and stuff would come to like 8 hours. You can also read one book per week if you have the time for that, because books are great, but you have to squeeze the most out of books. And also, whenever you're on social media, Google Translate is your best friend. You have to translate every single word that you don't understand, and the ones that are the most popular are gonna stick for sure. Not only that, but in this phase, you can actually start it from phase 2, but it's mainly phase 3 thing. News, they are very complex. You can use any translation app that you want, because news topics are easily recognizable. It's not going to be that hard for you. Honestly, if you do it for 2 months, I can almost promise you like a good B1, B2 level. And by the way, if you want to take an exam, there's a video on this, on specifically the LSE1. Most people kind of want to look cool, kind of want to look academic, kind of want to say no obstante and forget about the peros. Of course, we're not going to leave you guys out too. If you've implemented the previous steps, your Spanish understanding is almost at 100%. So in this phase, we're going to refine and we're going to get you from B2 to a C1. This phase is very grammar, academic, boring, teacher heavy. What we're going to do is first, again, go back to your Google News habit. Politics, philosophy, soul, health, these things are so great for your academic comprehension. In Spanish specifically, it's easier to get to that academic level because complex English is more similar to complex Spanish than simple English is to simple Spanish. Even though most words in English are from Latin, the words from Latin are mostly used on complex levels. The simple words in English are mostly from the Germanic side. So in this case, you're going to be reading a lot of news, a lot of documentaries, political debates, only educational content, but this is not as content heavy, as much grammar heavy. And my best advice is probably practice makes perfect books. Of course, it's not a promotion or something. If you're trying to learn Spanish grammar, I wouldn't say Spanish grammar is actually very easy because of the tenses. Like Mandarin grammar sometimes seems easier, but if you're trying to learn Spanish grammar, use AI. Let it tutor you, okay? Your journaling is the most important things, but now you're not going to journal like to journal. You're going to journal like essays. You're going to choose a complex topic and write about this, trying to use complex grammar and trying to find synonyms to the words that you want to use. Find better books. Maybe you can start reading more classics, and also speaking to the camera is the best option most of the times too. But if you want to pass an exam, there's a video about this. And if you want to learn more language learning tips, I have a ton of videos about this on my channel. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers. So if you're in for a ride, you're welcome. And I promise you, you're gonna get it.